A children's treasury of Chassidic tales. Just a few rubles. Fievel was a poor farmer. The land he worked was very hard and dry. Very little grew there on the farm. He and his family had the clothes they wore, a pot for meat, a pot for dairy, a few chairs, a broken table, and not much else. So when the time came for his daughter to get married, Fievel went to his rabbi, the Kutzker Rabbi, Rabbi Nachum Mendel, asked for help. Rebbe, my daughter will be married soon, but I have nothing to give her. I don't even have money for the wedding. Do you have an animal or some land you could sell? We have no animals, and the land is like stone. No one would buy it, Rebbe. Do you have any relatives or friends who could help you? No, Rebbe, no one. Can you work on someone else's farm for a few days a week to make some extra money? Can you get a loan? Fievel shook his head no. The Rebbe thought for a while, then, while Fievel waited, he wrote a letter. Here, said the Rebbe, finishing the writing. Take this letter to Reb Moshe Chaim of Rottenburg of Henshin. He's a rich and learned man, and surely he can help you. Henshin was a long way off. Fievel traveled from village to village and town to town. Yes, he traveled on and on. During the day, he was dreaming of all the riches that Moshe Chaim would give him. All the food, all the clothing, all the shiny pots and pans and sturdy tables and chairs that the rich man would surely give him. He dreamt about the food and everything and filled his stomach at night. Fievel went to sleep, and he dreamed more dreams of the wedding and his daughter and the beautiful chassan he would have and the beautiful yummy food he would have. When Fievel finally reached the town of Henshin, he knocked on the door of the rich man, of Moshe Chaim. And in his hand, he had the letter from the Rebbe. Moshe Chaim came to the door and greeted him. Hello, sir. How can I help you? Well, here's a letter I got from my Rebbe. It tells you everything you need to know. Reb Moshe Chaim, here it is. Reb Moshe Chaim read the letter. To marry off children is a great blessing, he said. I'm happy to help. Reb Moshe Chaim reached into his pocket, took out a few rubles, and gave them to Fievel. Oh, a few rubles? Fievel thought. Well, what about the wedding? What about the pots and pans and the blankets and the chairs and the yummy food and that for my daughter's wedding? What about the fancy clothes she's gonna wear? This is not a lot of money. But Fievel didn't say anything. He put the money in his pocket and started for home. Fievel was very sad. Very sad. He walked slowly back home. He was so disappointed. There was no rush to tell his daughter that he had nothing to give her. At night, Fievel rested under a tree just outside of Henshin. He lay down to sleep. And he didn't have any more dreams. No more dreams about pots and pans and fancy clothes. He just kept to himself, tried to stay warm, covered himself with leaves. As Fievel drifted off to sleep, he thought about his poor farm. Yes, his poor farm. He never grew much there, not much food, not much wheat. But Hashem never let him go hungry. And he was sure that, Bezrat Hashem, he would give his daughter a proper wedding. All of a sudden, a noise woke Fievel. Oh no, maybe robbers have come. Oh no, maybe thieves have come to steal the rubles, Fievel thought. Fievel sat up. And there he saw 2 wagons loaded with pots and pans and flour and meat and furniture and fine clothing and blankets and bedsheets. The wagons were tied together and led by 4 fine horses. And sitting on the front wagon was none other than Moshe Chaim. This is all for you and your daughter, Reb Moshe Chaim told Fievel. Even the horses and the wagons are yours. Am I dreaming, Fievel wondered? Am I dreaming? He closed his eyes and opened them again. Yes, the wagons were still there. They were still filled with everything his daughter could need. Reb Moshe Chaim helped Fievel up onto the front wagon. He handed Fievel the reins and the horses. Get on, you're going to ride with me. And they rode together. You must be wondering why I didn't give you all this right away, Reb Moshe Chaim said. Why I sent you from my house with just a few rubles. Fievel nodded. While you were traveling here during that long journey, what were you thinking? The rich man asked. Oh, I was dreaming, said Fievel, about all the fine things you would give me. The food, the pots, the pans, the furniture, the bedding. And when I gave you just a few rubles instead, what were you thinking then? At first I was upset. I had traveled so far with a letter from my Rebbe. But then I thought, if Reb Moshe Chaim of Chenshin won't help me, then the Eibishter, God will. And that's what I was hoping you would think, Reb Moshe Chaim said. And God did provide you for you and your daughter. Remember that. Everything we have is a gift from Hashem. When I gave you all this, I was only Hashem's messenger. And in the end, Fievel's daughter had a beautiful wedding. She wore the finest clothes, and she had a lovely chassid and a beautiful chassana with music and dancing and the finest food. And it was the wedding of a lifetime. The end.